a model of the mind that I drew up based upon my experiences with psychology and hypnotherapy. So I was in a discussion with a buddy the other day, and we were just talking about psychology and just about all the programming that's going on around us and all the manipulation. So I just decided to draw a little diagram here to kind of explain how the conscious and the subconscious mind works and how our subconscious is influenced by programming, not only from ourselves, but from our environment around us. So I drew an iceberg. This represents the iceberg. The line going across represents the water. So like an iceberg, the tip is what you see above the surface, and it doesn't seem like much, but below the surface is literally a mountain. So let's start with the conscious mind, this little small piece above the water. It's our analytical part of our mind, it's our thinking part of our mind. We use it for planning purposes, and it has to do with our short-term memory. So this is what we use for our day-to-day decisions. So this whole mountain below the surface is our subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind is a part of the mind that has to do with our past programming. And what I mean by past programming is our life experiences, like our family upbringing, the culture in which we're raised, maybe traumatic events that have happened to us. And also the subconscious has to do with the memory that we have of all of our life experience. It holds all of our life experience. So even though there's a lot of memories that we have when we're younger, we can't access with the conscious mind, they're still in the subconscious part of our mind. Also, with the subconscious, it has to do with our autonomic nervous system and basically how the mind affects the body. And so how our thinking and how our beliefs actually influence our immune system and our body's ability to heal. Also, the subconscious has to do with our skill set. So, for example, if you're an athlete and you practice a lot, you train a lot, you are using and developing your subconscious mind. You're developing that muscle memory. So when you're playing your sport, things are instantaneous. You don't have to use a lot of the conscious mind, the analytical mind. You don't have time. So you've ingrained it not only up here, but in your body. Also, the subconscious part of the mind is a very emotional part of our mind. It's influenced by emotion, and it's very open and programmed by suggestion. Suggestion is basically ideas that we're presented with. And we're bombarded with thousands of suggestions each and every day. Just think about all the advertising alone that we're exposed to. And those suggestions come in the form of visual imagery and auditory through verbal suggestions. So there's thousands of suggestions each day just from advertising, let alone if you turn on the news, right? You're watching the news, you're hearing the narration of all the terrible events that are going on, and they're flashing videos of things that are happening. And that can generate emotions in us, oftentimes fear. And so what that does is that gets lodged in the subconscious mind and programmed in there. And once those suggestions are programmed in the subconscious, it affects our belief systems. It affects our programming. And so we are going to act out, through our actions, the programming that we have in our subconscious mind. My whole purpose of just drawing this up was just to make you aware, of the subconscious and just the level of program that we're exposed to each and every day, not just externally, but even ourselves. And how do you change this? How does this get influenced? Well, one of the ways is through self-talk. What is it that you say when you talk to yourself? Are you aware of your internal dialogue, right? So whether it's good or bad, over time, that programming gets in your subconscious mind. As the old biblical saying goes, what you sow, you're going to reap. What kind of seeds that you plant in your mind, you're going to reap. So if you put a lot of garbage in your mind, you're planting those seeds, and then what are they going to produce? They're going to produce thorn bushes. They're going to produce problems in your life. On the opposite side of the spectrum, if you have a healthy self-image and your internal dialogue is more positive, about yourself, well, instead of planting those negative seeds, you're probably going to germinate some more flowers in your life. You're going to live a more fulfilled and happy life. So we determine a lot of the programming that goes in there. We do that through what we say, to ourselves. We also do it through our imagery. We all run mental movies in our head. Each of us is a director of their own movies. So what kind of movies are you running in your mind? Are they horror movies? What kind of movies are you running in there? Because again, those movies played over and over and over again, they influence the subconscious mind, which shapes your beliefs, which shapes your behavior. So we can program ourselves, and also too, be careful of what programming externally that you are allowing in your mind. What are you watching? What kind of programming are you watching? Are you spending a lot of your time watching the news? Are you watching movies that are just garbage? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Those external suggestions and imagery, they're programming your subconscious mind. Also, our brain operates at different levels of frequency. So in an analytical state of mind, like right now as I talk, I'm at beta level. My brainwave frequency is going from 12 to 30 hertz, or 12 to 30 cycles per second. Okay, but as I become more in a relaxed state, my brainwaves start to slow down, and I drop into what's called alpha. And that's between 8 and 12 hertz, or 8 to 12 cycles per second. So how do you get into an alpha state? Well, you can get an alpha state by doing meditation, by hypnosis, or the most common way to get to alpha is to sit there and watch TV. Watch TV, watch a movie. You can get engrossed in a really good book, and your brain waves will start to slow down, and you'll start to drop into this light state of hypnosis. And when you get into a light state of hypnosis, your subconscious is more open to programming. Many people believe that, oh, I can't be hypnotized. Let me tell you something. You go in and out naturally of altered states of consciousness every day. You're constantly going in. You're constantly going from a beta level, dropping into alpha level. Sometimes you're going to theta level, which is your brain waves slow down even more so than in alpha, and you get into a deeper level of hypnosis. And then the level below that obviously is sleep, and we all do that. So we're going in and out of these states of consciousness naturally every day. So my whole point in this is just be aware of the fact that you are going in and out of these altered states of consciousness, being aware of what you're putting in your mind visually, what you're saying about yourself, what kind of programming you're allowing in your mind. Because I believe that God's given us the most powerful computer up here between our ears that we'll ever know. We still don't know the full potential of it. However, when we came into the world, we didn't have a software program for this powerful computer. So in effect, our programming that we've picked up through life, through our family experiences, through our traumas, that type of thing, that has become our software program. So the good news is that you can alter some of this programming if it's negative. And again, you can go back to those two basic things that I said, going back to what you say when you talk to yourself, your internal dialogue, and what kind of imagery are you putting in your head, what kind of imagery and verbal suggestions are you allowing into your mind, right? So take control of the ship that you're steering. Control the rudder. Don't allow anyone else to do it, because there are plenty of amateur computer hackers out there waiting to get up here to program you the way they want you to. There's a lot of fear going on now. There's a lot of censorship and a lot of manipulation of people trying to control you. So control your own destiny. Control your own thinking. Take responsibility. Thank you.